first of all, recognize the presence of my cabinet colleagues, and in particular, your Parliament, Honorable Ian Pinard. Also, representatives of the councils which are here, who are here tonight, and very importantly, the residents of the Soufriere constituency, the residents of Soufriere, Skerrit, Galion, and Point Michel. It's always a pleasure being here with you in Skerrit. I want to say good evening to you, and thank you for your usual kind hospitality. I want to say to you, my dear friends, that I welcome this opportunity to be in the Soufriere constituency because I am proud of the accomplishments of the government in this and adjoining communities since the last general elections. I know we have not been able to achieve all we set out to, but we have done in 4 years what many had hoped to do in 40 years. Soufriere is one of those constituencies where government is always kept on its toes. And because of the different social and economic makeup of the communities that comprise the Soufriere constituency, it is always challenging for residents of one community to appreciate that which is going on in the other. Therefore, I welcome the opportunity this evening to report on our overall stewardship in the constituency of Soufriere, because the scenario might become more reassuring when you recognize that collectively these adjoining communities have achieved quite a bit of attention in the last 4 years. I believe this is as much a tribute to the government of the day as it is to the hard work of incumbent parliamentary representative, Honorable Ian Pinard. And Honorable Ian Pinard never once failed to make the case for Soufriere to receive its fair share of the economic pie. My friend Ian Pinard has made the life of every minister of government difficult by his persistent demands for attention to be given and resources allocated to this constituency. His focus and that of government has primarily been in the area of coastal restoration and the protection of your properties. For in the final analysis, your homes are the single largest investment you perhaps will ever make. I am happy this evening to reflect on the progress that has been made in that regard. But over and beyond the infrastructural improvements are the advances we have made in terms of enhancement of the environment and the ecology of these communities. Very often, we fail to recognize the expectations of persons visiting Dominica, which is dubbed the Nature Isle of the Caribbean and indeed the Hemisphere. My friends, when I drive through the communities of the Soufriere constituency, I get the impression that there is a collective resolve on the part of residents and the facilitation by the relevant departments of government to make and keep this constituency clean and aesthetically appealing. I do not know if Comrade Pinard has a secret arrangement with the Ministry of Health, but I must say that I enjoy driving through this constituency and breathing the fresh air and what appears to be the limited pollution of this corner of our beautiful country. A lot of it, I believe, has to do with fostering a greater community spirit among residents. And perhaps the reason for this is that many of you are related by blood, and therefore you're truly your brothers and sisters' keeper. Whatever the reason, I wish tonight to compliment residents of this constituency for keeping it beautiful and in most instances pleasing to the eye. Ladies and gentlemen, during this series of town hall meetings, I have made consistent reference to the enhanced and continuously improving image of Dominica at home and abroad. Not only are we admired because of the hard decisions we took in the early 2000s with respect to fiscal and economic overhaul and reform, but also because of our steadfast adherence to the principle of environmental protection, which has now apparently caught on elsewhere in the world. I was amazed by the considerable focus and attention given to the environment at the current General Assembly of the United Nations, as well as the just concluded G20 Summit of Leaders of the Developed World. I think it is fortuitous that Dominica was represented on this occasion at the General Assembly by no lesser person than His Excellency the President, because his speech honed in on some of the salient points Dominica has been making, and which I believe are finally resonating among world leaders. These include issues of renewable energy generation, global warming, and the need for environmental protection to become more relevant and urgent. I believe that what we in Dominica have practiced and taken for granted over the years will now become the goal and mantra of the industrialized world. This places us in an advantageous position whereby Dominica can become a model to developing countries in search of balanced and rounded development. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, we may differ from time to time on issues of the degree to which we should hold on to what we have, and furthermore, how we should balance economical and environmental development. But I believe that by and large, Dominicans have jealously guarded the pearl we have inherited and the subsequent balanced development of this country. Today we can be proud of rating as one of the most pollution-free and ecologically appealing destinations on earth. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, I return to the issue of vast resources we have invested in this particular constituency in the area of coastal protection. Some persons attach great value to buildings and highways, while others to commerce and industry. Here in the Soufrière constituency, we have addressed all of the above, but in addition, we have placed special emphasis on ecology and the environment, and I would not wish for that to be undervalued. Comrades and friends, we meet this evening against the backdrop of more and more social and chronic horror stories emanating from sister islands, Caribbean islands. While we in Dominica continue to ride the waves to a certain degree, we cannot help but be mindful of the point to where we could slip if continued vigilance and prudence are not maintained. Deteriorating levels of antisocial behavior is cause for concern in all our territories. We are still in September, and already at least 2 CARICOM countries have recorded murder rates in excess of 500, with a number of incidents in other countries growing as well. Here in Dominica, we need to jealously guard our reputation as a haven of peace and tranquility. Many of the gruesome incidents we hear and read about are still foreign to us here in Dominica, but we cannot and must not sit on our laurels and say it cannot happen in Dominica. Even one murder is one too many. We are providing support to our police and encouraging the efforts of the police in engaging the population in community policing. But at the end of the day, it is we, the residents of Dominica, who must play a more important and pivotal role in protecting our citizens and ourselves. If in fact it takes a community to raise a child, then we each have to take an interest in the choices that are made by our young people and adults alike.